Welcome back to the Explainer, everyone. Today, we're jumping right into the fascinating and honestly sometimes frustrating world of Homelab server architecture. Specifically, we're going on a quest for perfect isolation by unpacking the philosophy of one app per container. It's a concept that causes a ton of debate, a lot of confusion, and as you're going to see, a surprising amount of relief. Okay, picture this scenario. You've just spent an entire week building out your infrastructure. It works, you're staring at it, feeling pretty good, and then a special kind of frantic energy hits you. You start second-guessing everything. You ask yourself, wait, is one app per container completely ridiculous? It's that classic beginner's anxiety, right? The panic of building something that's totally functional, but suddenly wondering if you've just completely misunderstood the entire point of resource management. Let's look at the exact beginner setup that triggered this massive wave of imposter syndrome. So we have a separate Ubuntu Server Linux container, or LXC, for Minecraft. Another one, completely isolated, just for Foundry. A third for Jellyfin, a general Homelab app LXC. And get this, even a dedicated LXC running Docker just to support a single app. Looking at this exact list, our beginner was seriously sweating, wondering, should I just be combining these? Is this totally wasteful?
But then the internet chimed in, and I want you to hear this loud and clear, stepping right out of that panic and into a calm, authoritative reality. The consensus from experienced operators was surprisingly emotional and overwhelmingly validating. They basically said, you are doing things right. Stop fixing what isn't broken. Far from being a rookie mistake, the veterans looked at this setup and saw something incredibly clean and highly efficient. Okay, let's dive into this. Why did the experts actually love this setup? Well, it all comes down to one core concept: blast radius. This is literally the extent of the damage caused by a bad package, an incompatible dependency, a broken update, or just a total service crash. By isolating your apps into their own containers, you are intentionally keeping those failures incredibly small. If your Jellyfin install completely breaks during an update, it doesn't matter. It won't take down your Minecraft server. The damage is entirely contained.
What we're seeing here is a massive paradigm shift. What the beginner feared was wasteful resource inefficiency, stressing out over storage overhead and duplicate-based packages. But the veterans recognize that as operational insurance. They realize that this supposed waste is actually buying you the easiest, most stress-free single-container restoration possible.
There's this one quote from a veteran that absolutely hits the nail on the head. They warned that a monolithic server turns a simple mistake into a group project. Think about it for a second. Homelabs are our playgrounds. They're built for midnight experiments, following somewhat shady online guides and tweaking config files you really only half understand. If you do that on a giant, shared monolithic server and it goes up in smoke, every single app goes down with it. Your mistake just became everyone's problem.
Instead, putting things in separate LXCs, that lets you be reckless in smaller rooms. This architecture gives you the absolute freedom to fail independently. You get to tinker, break things, and experiment to your heart's content in one container, knowing for a fact it is not going to bring down the rest of your carefully tuned system.
All right, so is it a perfect utopia? Well, no. The reality of this architecture really comes down to a simple number: 15. If you have 15 separate LXCs just to get that perfect isolation, you now have 15 package databases to maintain, 15 upgrade cycles to run, and 15 different sets of logs to monitor. That is a lot of upkeep.
So how do you deal with that? The automation camp has a pretty strong answer. They handle this administrative chore by turning 20 independent, annoying systems into one repeatable, scriptable process. They lean heavily into custom apt update scripts, powerful configuration tools like Ansible, Patchmon, Webmin, Cockpit, or just setting up unintended upgrades. By leaning into automation, you essentially neutralize the sheer chore of maintaining all those separate operating systems.
Actually, one user took this to a delightfully recursive extreme. Their big strategy? Literally, creating a container just to patch containers. Yes, they actually spun up an isolated LXC strictly running Patchmon to manage the updates of all the other LXCs. It's hilarious, but honestly, it proves a point. If you have too many containers to patch, you can just automate the problem away with, well, another container.
But hold on. The cautious camp raises a really valid warning here about the ultimate script breaker, major Debian distro upgrades. Moving from one major release to another isn't just running a simple patch. The package managers will pause to ask you about config files, services completely change their defaults, and it usually requires some level of manual intervention. Automated scripts can easily break here, meaning you are still going to have to handhold those 15 separate upgrades so you don't break your running services.
So we're left staring down a pretty massive trade-off. Going with separate LXCs gives you that beautiful, reduced app blast radius, but leaves you with way more operating systems to care for. On the flip side, using a giant Docker VM means you have fewer base systems to patch, but it forces way more apps to share a single failure domain. And remember, we're often talking about Homelabbers balancing 10 services on a 16-gigabyte mini PC. Neither of these approaches is completely free when your hardware resources are tight.
Which brings us to the great Docker philosophy war in the community. Where does Docker actually belong? Well, here is a fantastic rule of thumb to help settle the debate. Isolated services belong in separate LXCs. Why? Because LXCs are incredibly lightweight and they efficiently share the host kernel. However, if you are running a complex stack of multiple Docker apps, they generally belong in a virtual machine. A VM is going to provide much stronger, stricter boundaries for that kind of workload.
And this brilliantly illustrates another huge factor: cluster migration. As one user pointed out, smaller LXCs are like boxes you can rearrange. Imagine you build this giant monolithic Docker VM. On a constrained Proxmox node, that VM might literally be too large to migrate anywhere else. It just gets stuck. But if you have smaller LXCs, you can easily shift those boxes around to balance the load across your hardware.
Because resource efficiency, it's not just about total consumption. It's about shape. A massive VM might use the exact same total RAM as 10 smaller LXCs, but its shape is rigidly large and inflexible. Splitting your services into smaller LXCs gives you these fine-grained, flexible pieces. You can rebalance them dynamically across a clustered environment without having to drag an entire monolithic application universe along with it.
Now, if you or your organization are already deeply invested in existing Docker workflows, you don't actually have to be a purist. Enter what the community lovingly calls the chaotic compromise. This is having multiple LXCs running Docker, but all managed by a centralized Portainer or Watchtower LXC. Look, it might make infrastructure purists grin their teeth a bit, but it works. You can mix abstraction layers to avoid unnecessary operational friction, especially if you're already heavily relying on Docker Compose files.
So what's the mature answer to this whole debate? It really boils down to this. Use the smallest isolation boundary that still fits the workload. Media servers like Jellyfin, they benefit hugely from isolated LXCs because they need specific things like GPU pass-through and unique permissions. But if you have highly untrusted workloads, you might genuinely need the strict, hard kernel separation that only a full virtual machine can give you.
All of this really builds toward a much better definition of true resource efficiency. It is so much more than just staring at an idle CPU graph, right? True efficiency includes your operational cost, your recovery time when things inevitably break, your patching effort, your migration flexibility, and, frankly, preserving your weekend. The real goal here is to optimize for your own sanity, not just your RAM usage.
Which brings us to the ultimate takeaway for this explainer. Good architecture makes failure boring. Yes, spinning up a separate LXC for every single app might consume a little bit more disk space. And yeah, it might mean a few more automated updates running in the background. But it absolutely guarantees that when, and I mean when, not if, one bad update goes sideways, it doesn't instantly destroy 5 totally unrelated services. It takes the sheer panic right out of the process.
So, I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative question to wrap up our explainer today. Is your Homelab a hostage situation waiting to happen? I highly encourage you to take a hard look at your own setup's blast radius. Are your app's fates needlessly tied together? Take these structural lessons and start building some smaller rooms to be reckless in. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and I hope this empowers you to go out and build a much more resilient architecture.